bookworms, and welcome to the Book Up. I'm your host, Verdell Walker, and I'm so excited you're here. Each week, I dive into my latest reads and share my honest, unvarnished opinions, all in 15 minutes or less. So sit back, get cozy, and let me give you the Book Up. Today's book is The Last One by Rachel Howzell Hall. It's a romantasy published by Red Tower Books. The print edition is 496 pages and it's also available as an eBook and an audiobook. Here's the summary. Thrown into a desolate land of sickness and unnatural beast, Kai wakes in the woods with no idea who she is or how she got there. All she knows is that if she cannot reach the Sea of Devour, even this hellscape will get worse. But when she sees the village blacksmith fight invaders with unspeakable skill, she decides to accept his offer of help. Too bad he's as skilled at annoying her as he is at fighting. As she searches for answers, Kai only finds more questions, especially regarding the blacksmith who can ignite her body like a flame, then douse it with ice in the next breath. And no one is what or who they appear to be in the kingdom of Vinvrith, including the man whose secrets might be as deadly as the land itself. Oh, bookworms, where do I begin with this book? I guess I'll start by saying that I vacillated between 2 and 3 stars for this book. I'm just going to say this up top. I did not like The Last One. I wish I could get the time that I spent reading this back. I was so excited for this one. It had so much going for it. I saw a great interview with Rachel, the author, on Good Morning America, and it piqued my interest. I was jazzed for the opportunity to support a Black woman author writing in romantasy, a genre that I generally like. And it even had a front cover blurb from Rebecca Yarros, one of the reigning queens of romantasy. She wrote the Fourth Ring series. Then I saw this book front and center at my local library, so I was like, all right, I got it. I'm going to read this, and I'm going to love it. Wrong. Good Lord, this was a letdown. In my humble opinion, it was an absolute mess. But to be fair, I'm going to start out with what I liked. It's a short list. I loved that Kai, the main character, is a woman of color. It's not often that we see Black women as the protagonist in fantasy, much less a love interest. So that was very refreshing to me. There is also a wizard sidekick named Veril that is a walking green flag. He is witty, he's talented, he gives great advice, he's a great fighter, and he cooks. Honestly, he should have been the love interest. It might have been a better read. So let's get to what I didn't like. While this book was funny and witty at times, I found myself shaking my head at Kai's stupidity often. She also just felt too much like a modern woman of our world. This is my personal bias here. Fantasy, especially when it's supposed to be a secondary world, I think that there has to be some great world building to make it a great book, but there is very little world building here to speak of. And Kai has so much cheesy dialogue, and she often uses crude language, which is very at odds with the rest of her characterization. So, side note here, for those of you who might not be as into fantasy as me, in fantasy, a secondary world is a fictional world that is separate from our own, the quote-unquote primary world. And it has to be internally consistent, and it possesses its own unique rules, geography, history, and cultures, and all that jazz. All right, that's your lesson for today. Let's talk about the love interest now. Jaden. He was almost a total letdown. He's hunky and he's good with a sword, and that's about it. He also lies to and gaslights Kai, and his actions put her in direct danger later in the book, though he's very sorry about it in the end. Womp womp. Hall clearly telegraphs throughout the book that he's got a big secret, that he's not what he seems. We learn later that he and Kai are connected. Okay, he has this very convoluted backstory, and he's got two dads, one human, one demonic, I think, somehow. Don't ask. Kai and Jaden fall in lust at first sight, and this phase is incredibly cringe, almost juvenile. I couldn't believe I was reading an adult romantasy. I have seen some people say that this felt like YA, and I hard disagree. I have read a lot of YA that is a heck of a lot better than this. It was also so repetitive. Like every 15 pages, there was another battle with a monster that had a ridiculous name. I needed a little more on the remembering of Kai's identity and less magical creature attacks. This is Hall's first fantasy book, and it really shows. Holy exposition, Batman. The last two chapters, I kid you not, were just characters standing around explaining things in the middle of a battlefield. And I still didn't get it. It was an info dump that didn't even dump info. I think she should have spent more time reading in the fantasy genre before tackling her own story. Lastly, this book was too long. Like 100 pages too long. This might not have bothered me if the book was better written. In fact, I can say with certainty it would not have bothered me if the book was better written. If you have a great story, I don't want it to end. Hall is a respected veteran mystery writer, so I was just surprised that this book was so clunky. I can only guess that this was an attempt to cash in on the romantasy craze. Bad writing is really my ick, especially if it comes from someone who is supposed to be a good writer. I finished this book out of spite. I just had to know the mystery of Kai's identity, but I should have DNF'd this. I should have stuck to my rule of putting down books that you don't like. The second book, which yes, it's going to be a second book, called The Cruel Dawn, is set to be released on August the 19th. I will not be reading it. My final rating for the last one is 2 out of 5 stars. This will certainly be the last one I ever read from Miss Hall. If you do want to read more in the romantasy space, I encourage you to check out A Court of Thorns and Roses, better known as ACOTAR on TikTok. Fourth Wing, The Crowns of Nyaxia series by Carissa Broadbent. It's about vampires, very good. Thea Guanzon's Hurricane Wars series. There are 2 books out on that one right now. Also amazing, probably my favorite. And also the Letters of Enchantment series by Rebecca Ross. It has 2 books, Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows. Very, very good. Finally, I want to end this episode with a PSA. All of the above is just my opinion. This show, y'all, is about me bringing you my POV about the books that I read. My goal is to talk about books I feel strongly about, for better or for worse. People have different tastes, and that's okay. You may pick up this book and be like, oh yeah, this is my jam. And if that's the case, I love that for you. This book just didn't do the trick for me, but it very may well do it for you. So if you're curious, even after all my panning, read it. Read what you like. But if you don't like it, don't say I didn't warn you. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow or subscribe wherever you get your podcast. And if you want to read today's book, I've included shoppable links in the episode description. I'll earn a commission if you make a purchase. Thanks for supporting the show that way. I'd also love to hear from you. Leave me a rating or a review, and if you have book recommendations, drop them in the comments on my latest post over on Instagram at @TheBookUpPod. Thanks again for listening, and I'll catch you next time on The Book Up.